Keymaster has been my go-to routine in close-up situations for the last 15 years. I know!
Wow, that's insane, dude. Look.
That's fantastic.
I always think I'm gonna see something, I'm gonna catch something. Yeah.
I don't know you very well, but I'm guessing that's your pissed off face. And for the first time ever, you can learn everything about Keymaster that I've held as a closely guarded secret until now. What you get with this project is you get 4 custom designed gimmicked keys that work together to create absolute miracles that you can carry around with you, and you can have them on your person and do it anytime, anywhere. Now, in this project, you're going to learn the original gatekeeper and keymaster routine. That's where spectators hold keys in their hands, and with almost no moves, you make the holes on the keys jump from one place to another. I love the look on your face. You look like a rabbit caught in headlights. Now, here's the weird thing. I'm going to put the hole right there. And this is weird. If I just tap, that hole has to go somewhere. And this is the weirdest thing you've ever seen. Turn your hand over, open it up. You ever seen 2 holes on a key before? You can visually move holes down the length of the key, off the key, back onto the key. Oh, and by the way, it happens in the spectator's hand. Like, this is super commercial, killer material. But there are now 10 routines on this project that use the keys in different ways. And we've included a brand new gimmick that you will never have seen before that uses the keys put together to create an act. And I really mean that. With this project, you can create a 10, 15, 20-minute act that you have on your keychain, that you can have with you and be able to do at a moment's notice. Straight up in the air, look at that! You know what's really weird though, Katie?
What?
Not that you pulled it off the string, but how it even went on the string when there's no hole in the key to begin with. We've combined these keys with playing cards, with builds. We've combined them to do mentalism. For me, this marks the final word on the Keymaster project. There is nothing else I can do with this beyond this point right now. I'm going to be sharing with you today on this tutorial everything that I know about Keymaster, every idea I've had with it, and over the last 10 years, all of the different ways that I've performed it in bars, restaurants, nightclubs, corporate events, weddings. This is a real worker for me. This is one of the strongest working commercial routines that you will ever learn. And I guarantee you that once you learn it, you're never going to leave the house without it. I'm going to show you a couple of things to you. And it starts off with this. It starts off with 2 keys. It's called the 2-key trick. Do you know why it's called the 2-key trick?
2 keys.
Have you seen it before? That's very impressive. Good job. It does indeed use 2 keys. Now, here's what I need you to do. You're going to help me with it. You're both going to help me. But hold your hand out for me. I'm going to give you one of these keys. Your job is to squeeze it until later on, okay? So squeeze it tightly, turn your hand over, and keep your hand up here. I love how your knuckles are turning white, like you don't trust me at all. That's good. That's fine. That's fine. And I'm going to give you this key. Your job is to check that key out and make sure it's okay. Make sure there's no wires, no magnets, no trapdoors. Take your time. I get paid by the hour. Is that okay?
That's good to me.
Good stuff. So would you like to see a good trick or a miracle?
I'll go miracle. Why not?
Okay, miracle. Why not? Watch the key. Watch the hole in the key. See, if I do this, I can take that hole and pull it right off the key. I love the look on your face. You look like a rabbit caught in headlights. Now, here's the weird thing. I'm going to put the hole right there. And this is weird. If I just tap, that hole has to go somewhere. And this is the weirdest thing you've ever seen. Turn your hand over, open it up. You ever seen 2 holes on a key before? So weird, right? So weird. So weird. But I'm going to try and get the hole back on this key.
All right.
That's what I'm going to do. Hold your hand out for me. Now, there's no hole there. It's not an optical illusion, right? No. Squeeze it tightly. Turn your hand over. Now, you can see there's 2 holes there. Is that right? Can you do me a favor? Can you hold on to the shaft? That sounds terrible. Can you hold on to that bit? That's much better. That's much better. Well, if I do this, I can take the hole back back off the key. Now, if I told you I could put the key, the hole back on the key in your hand, would that be good?
That'd be fantastic.
That'd be amazing, right? But I'm going to go one step further. I'm going to put the hole back on the key in your hand. I'm going to put it in a position that no hole has ever been before. Watch. Have you ever seen a hole in the stem of a key?
That's fantastic.
I always think I'm gonna see something. I'm gonna catch something. No.
I don't know you very well, but I'm guessing that's your pissed off face. I mean, I'm just...
More or less just intrigued and infuriated all at the same time.
Let's go with that, shall we? Let's go with that. Should we go one step further? Let's get rid of this key, because this is now basically. So we'll put it away, and I'll show you something with this key and this piece of string. The exciting thing is you're going to do this trick yourself.
All right.
Examine the string, make sure it's okay. Make sure it doesn't come apart. Is it all right? And you've already checked the key out. You can look at it again if you want to. It's all good. So, I'm going to show you the trick, but in a minute you're going to do it yourself. The idea is really simple. The key goes on the string. It's got to go about the middle. Is that roughly the middle?
Roughly, yeah.
Watch this. If I do this and take the key and pull up, it goes right through the middle of the string, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Now, when I do this, people turn around to me and they say, Craig, because that's my name. They say, Craig, I think I know what's happening here. What's happening is you're not really putting it on the string. It looks like it's going on there, but really it's not. You can tell everyone that's really on there, isn't it? I mean, that's really...
Yeah.
You don't trust me. Give it a pull. Make sure it's ready. It is really on there, right?
That's actually, yeah.
Yeah, it really is. Watch the key. Oh, no, you don't trust me either. This is how it works. It's all to do with hypnotism. You will give me all your money. Yes. Worth a try, maybe not, right? Watch the key. So the idea is really simple. You've got to pull vertical, not horizontal. You go straight up. Watch this. You pull straight up like this.
Okay.
It comes off. You tap the key to the string. Watch this. It goes right back on. What's exciting is in a second you're going to do this yourself, right? First of all, give it a pull, make sure people have realised it's on there. If you do not pull it up, what's your name again, sorry?
Katie.
I'm sorry, Katie, okay. If you don't pull it and people don't realise it's on there, there's no trick. Now you go vertical like this, never go horizontal, you go straight up. You go straight up, it comes off. You blow, it goes back on. Following?
Not even a little.
No. So this is the exciting part. Now you can do it yourself. Are you ready?
Yes.
Give it a pull. You got to promise me something here. If he gets this right, you're going to give him a big round of applause, okay? Because this is your first trick, okay? Are you ready?
Yeah.
You're going to hold on to the end, and when I say go, you're going to pull straight up. If it comes off the string, everyone's going to go crazy. You ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1, straight up in the air. Look at that! You know what's really weird though, Katie?
What?
Not that you pulled it off the string, but how it even went on the string when there's no hole in the key to begin with.
That is fantastic.
Let me just get rid of that. Hang on a minute. You can keep that as a suit. Oh, you don't want it. That's fine. No problem. Now, this is called a two-key trick. Do you have any idea, sir, why it's called a two-key trick? It's because it uses two keys. It is not a trick question, I promise you. 2 keys. So the idea is really simple. Kelsey, I need you to hold your hand out for me. I'm going to take one of these keys. This is key number 1. I want you to squeeze this, and we're going to get back to it a little bit later on. Turn your hand over. You do that like a pro. That's fantastic. Now, you keep your hand up there. And sir, can you have a look at this key? Check it out. Make sure it's okay. Make sure there's no wires, magnets, trapdoors, secret compartments. Make sure it is what it appears to be. Is that okay?
Nothing suspect about it.
I don't want you to hold on to that key because I'm not that good. I'm going to get better though. Watch the key. Watch the hole in the key. You see, if I take the hole on the key and do this, this is going to freak you out. 1, 2, 3. I can pull the hole off the key. Kelsey, I've just put the hole off the key, right? Now watch this. I'm going to put it right there. Now this is the moment. If I do that, did you feel that, Kelsey?
Yes.
This is the weirdest thing ever. I put the hole on the key in your hand. Turn your hand over. Have a look. You ever seen a key with 2 holes on the stem? 2 holes right there. That's weird, right? Now we're gonna... I know, but we're going to go one step further. I'm going to get the hole back on this key. There is no hole there, is there? To be clear, no hole.
No.
You take this key, squeeze it tightly, turn your hand over. Do you see the two holes? Do you see the two holes? Thank you for helping, I appreciate that. Do me a favor, so hold on to the stem right there. Watch this. 1, 2, 3. I can take the hole back off that key. Now, Kelsey, let me ask you a question. If I told you I could put that back on the key in your hand, would that be good?
That's crazy.
But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go further. I'm going to put the hole on that key in a place that no hole has ever been before. Watch this. 1, 2, 3. Turn your hand over. You ever seen a key with a...
What the f***?
No!
Wow, that's insane, dude. Look.
Don't leave me hanging, Kelsey. Don't leave me hanging. That's it.
Oh my gosh. What did you do?
I know. Keep your... The thing that's making this is your excitement and enthusiasm. I want to thank you for that, so I appreciate it. Hey guys, my name's Craig Petty and welcome to the instructions for Keymaster. I cannot tell you how excited I am to bring this out with Penguin Magic. Keymaster for me is something, it was one of the first routines I created and marketed. It's probably maybe 12, 13 years ago now that I first brought it out. And when I originally brought out Keymaster, it came with one routine basically, which was the main Keymaster routine. And that's the routine that I'd been working up until that point, and it's still the routine that I do all the time now. Every single walk around gig, I do the main Keymaster routine. Over the last 14 years, I have created a whole bunch of other routines and concepts and ideas with Keymaster that now is the time to share this with you. So any other version of Keymaster in the past is great, and that's fine, but it's normally just the Keymaster routine. In this set, you're going to learn everything else that I do with Keymaster. And in order for you to learn those routines properly, there is an extra gimmick in here that you never got with the original Keymaster. Now, about 10 years ago, I brought out a thing called Keymaster Reloaded, which was a limited run. The gimmicks that you get in here are different to the gimmicks that you got in Keymaster Reloaded. There's 4 gimmick keys altogether. We're going to do an unboxing in a minute, and I'm going to show them all to you. But this, for me, this marks the final word on the Keymaster project. There is nothing else I can do with this beyond this point right now. I'm going to be sharing with you today on this tutorial everything that I know about Keymaster, every idea I've had with it, and over the last 10 years, all of the different ways that I've performed it in bars, restaurants, nightclubs, corporate events, weddings. This is a real worker for me. This is one of the strongest working commercial routines that you will ever learn. And I guarantee you that once you learn it, you're never going to leave the house without it. So hopefully I've hyped it up enough. So without further ado, let's get into an unboxing and talk about what you're actually going to get with your Keymaster set. Right, so first of all, this is the packaging, and I just want to take a quick second to just give a big shout out to Penguin and P3, because their packaging is always good, but this is next level for me. Now, when you open this up, you're going to see that there's 4 keys inside this set. Let me talk you through each one of the keys and then talk you through what we did and why we did it the way we did. So first of all, there is a normal key. This one here is a normal key. This is a Keymaster key. So it's just a brass key with a hole right here, just as a key would be. You'll notice they're uncut. We're going to get to that a little bit later on. The second key is this one here. Now this is very similar to the first key. The only difference is there's 2 holes in the head of the key. Just for purposes of explanation, we're going to call this the head and we're going to call this the stem. Okay, so on the head of the key you've got 2 holes. This key is the third key. You'll notice there's no hole there at all, but there's a hole at the bottom of the stem. Okay, and then finally, this is the new gimmick. This key is completely blank. There's no holes at all. It is a completely blank key. So those are the keys that you actually get with your Keymaster set. Now let me talk about these for a minute. So first of all, when I first brought out Keymaster 14 years ago, it was impossible to find keys that had no holes. This style of key, it was impossible to find it. So when I created the first keymaster, what we had to do is we have to have keys kind of molded, and they looked good. I mean, they looked okay, they worked absolutely fine, but they didn't really have the look of a normal key to them. For the first time ever, in my opinion, Keymaster has come with keys that look just like normal keys. Now, about 4 or 5 years ago, a project came out called Keymaster Chrome, which were with silver keys. That was nothing to do with me. I didn't have anything to do with the production of that. I didn't have anything to do with the release of that. It's why I'm not really on the project. What I did not like about Keymaster Chrome is that the keys were cut, which completely went against my original vision of Keymaster. And when I started working with Penguin, I actually said, one of the most important things for me is that the keys come uncut. Now, there's 2 reasons for that. The first reason is, you'll find a lot of people that I've spoken to, they actually prefer to use the keys uncut. And I do. When I first started, that wasn't my reason for using uncut keys. But over the years, I actually have preferred to use uncut keys purely because it's a great hook line. I can give a key out to somebody and say, hey, do you see anything weird about this? And they always say no. And then you say to them, notice there's no cuts in it. This is what a key looks like before it's printed. And I really like that hook. However, that's not the main reason to have them uncut. The main reason to have them uncut is because my original vision with Keymaster was that you could take your set of keys that you get with Keymaster, you can take them to a key cutters, and you can give them your house key, and you can have them cut these keys so they are your house keys. So in other words, these 4 gimmicks become your house key. Because here's the thing, we talk as magicians about an everyday carry, and oh, what's your everyday carry? What do you carry around with you? I think everyday carry items, if you're going to have something that's an everyday carry, it should be something that looks organic, like you've got it with you anyway. And you don't want to be in a situation where somebody goes, oh, you're a magician, show me a trick. I've got nothing on me. Well, if these are cut to your house key, you're always going to have your gimmick on you. As long as you plan on getting back into your house at some point, you're always going to have your gimmick on you. So these keys have been designed to be blank. You can use them blank, and you'll see that I do use them blank. But if you want to have them cut to your house key, you can do. It doesn't affect the keys at all. It doesn't affect the gimmicks at all. You can still use the gimmicks exactly as they are intended. There's no difference. However, it now means that the keys look like normal keys, but they are house keys. So you can put them onto your normal keychain, and you're ready to go at a moment's notice. The other thing about these keys is these are smaller. Anybody who had the original Keymaster, the one complaint I had about it is that the keys were quite large, so that when you were palming them, it was difficult to keep them hidden in your hand. Now, I never had that issue because I've got big hands, but it was a common problem with a few different people. These are smaller. And my son Ryland, for example, can palm these perfectly and do the routine perfectly. So and he's got tiny hands, so it shouldn't be a problem for anybody. So that's the 4 keys. So you've got your uncut key, your completely blank key. You've got a normal key, a key with 2 holes, and you've got a key with a hole in the stem. Actually, one more thing I'd like to point out is the key with the hole in the stem, this key right here. Originally on the original Keymaster, it was halfway up the stem. And the hole has been put more towards the bottom of the key now. And again, that was something that I asked Penguin to do. And that makes the routine a lot easier, and it makes it more deceptive as well. So that hole has been put in that position for a purpose. It's been put there for a reason, as opposed to the original where it was halfway up. It's going to make a lot of the displays look a lot better. So now you've got your keys. Before we go into the routines, there's one other thing that you're going to need. And this is my Keymaster set here. The one thing that you're going to need is you're going to need a keychain to put them on. Now, the only piece of advice I can give you about this keychain is you want one that will open up very, very quickly. So in other words, you'll see keychains where, you know, have you ever had one of those keychains where it's an absolute nightmare to get a key off? You don't want that with your Keymaster set. You want to be able to get the key off very, very easily without fumbling. Now, if you look on Amazon, and you just search for easy open key fobs. There are hundreds of them on there, lots of different makes, lots of different models, lots of different designs. This one is quite nice because literally all you do is you just pull down and twist and it opens it up, and then you can just flick it back and it closes. This is the one I tend to use, and this is the one that I've used for many, many years, because when the keys are on there, as you can see, it's literally just a case of doing that, and I can take the keys off. You don't want to fumble taking the keys off the keychain. So the one other thing you're going to need is a key fob. You've probably got one around your house, but if not, you can order one or get one from any key cutters. Just make sure it's very easy to open, so you can take the keys off very, very easily. So with that being said, let's get into the setup and how to perform the main keymaster routine. So for the main keymaster routine, you're not going to need the new gimmick. So the key that's completely blank, put that to one side. You're not going to need that for this routine. You're just going to need these 3 keys. And this is the original keymaster routine that I've been performing for the best part of 13 or 14 years. What you're going to do is this is the setup. You're going to take your key fob and you're going to put onto it your single hole key and your double hole key, okay, and then close it shut. That's going to go into your pocket, into your right hand pocket, and then this one where the hole is on the stem, that one also goes into your right hand pocket. That's it. So they're just 2 sets of keys in your pocket and you're good to go. When you want to perform the routine, you're going to go into your pocket, you're going to grab the keychain, and you're going to bring it out in a closed fist. And I like to say something like, hey, I'm going to show you the 2 key trick. And the reason I have it in a closed fist is I want to just look in my hand and see the orientation of the keys. I need to make sure that the 2-hole key is towards me. So I have a look in my hands and I just display the keys so the 2-hole key is towards me. What's really nice about this is it's a very deceptive display. I spent ages trying to figure out how to hide the fact that this key had 2 holes in it. And I realized that the easiest way is just to hang 2 keys on a keychain. Because now they see a key here with 1 hole on, they just assume the other one has 1 hole on as well. And the angles are perfect because you're holding the keys like this with your hand behind. So anybody who's looking from behind, they just see the back of the hand. So it looks perfect. Now with this routine, the magic happens in the spectator's hands. So you're going to have somebody normally on my right hold their hand out. You say, hold your hand out for me. And you're going to open up the keychain and you're going to reach up and you're going to grab the 2-hole key and take it off, hiding the 2nd hole. And that just happens as you take it off. So as I take the key off, I use my thumb and my forefinger to cover the 2nd hole, and I show it like this, very, very fairly. And I have them hold their hand out, so let's just pretend this is their hand. I put it into their hand like this, and I leave my forefinger over the hole, and I say, make a fist around the key for me. And as they make a fist, I just move my forefinger out the way, and I tell them to turn their hand over. So it's like this. You know, can you do me a favor? Can you hold your hand out for me? Great. Your job is to hold on to that key. Don't let me get to it until later on. They hold that key in between, in their hand like that. They've got 2 holes on their key. They have no idea that there's 2 holes on the key. And that's all done one-handed. And what I mean by that is, so I've just taken this off. This hand continues to hold the keychain as I do that into the spectator's hand. Okay? Very important, by the way, that when they make a fist, you get them to turn their hand over. Because if their hand is left this way, they could very easily open it. But in order to open their hand when the hand's orientated this way, they have to turn their hand over. And if you see them turning their hand over, you can say, whoa, keep your hand shut. I don't want to be accused of cheating. So they've got the 2-hole key. You then take the key off, the other key off, and you hand it to someone on the left, and you say, have a look at that key, check it out, make sure it's okay, make sure it's normal. And I give the key to somebody on the left to look at. This key fob goes away into my pocket, and as I put it away, I just steal the other key into my hand. It's held here in this position. It's basically in finger palm with the head of the key here on the middle finger and the end of the stem at the little finger. And nobody is looking at this hand. Everybody's looking at that key over there. And I have the perfect reasoning to go into my pocket because I'm putting the key fob away. So I put the key fob away, and I bring the key out and it's here in finger palm. And then a lot of the time when they examine it, they go, yeah, it's fine. And I normally point out the fact that it's not being cut. And I say, look, this key is not being cut. This is what a key looks like before it's been printed. Now, you're going to do a move. It's going to look, let me just put this palmed key down here. It's going to look like you bring the key up to this position here in front of you. But you're going to switch it for this key. Now, let me show you what it looks like. In full speed, it looks like this. Watch the key. Watch the hole in the key. That's the move. But I've now switched this key in. Now let me explain how this works. It's basically a covered shuttle pass. So you take this key back and it's held in the left hand in this position. Head there, the end of the stem there. Basically the same position as you've got over here. Now all you're going to do is you're going to turn this hand palm down. As this hand turns palm down, your thumb goes on the key, stopping it from falling out of the hand. And at the same time, this hand turns palm up and comes up like this. And it looks like you put the key into this hand, right? So this hand comes up here like this. Now, you want to practice that to make it look smooth. You don't want, the big mistake I see people doing is they put the thumb on the key and then turn the hand over. That looks obvious. It looks like you're pinning the key against the hand. You don't want to move this thumb until the hand turns over, because the larger action of turning the hand over hides the smaller action of the thumb moving. This, and also timing's important. This is no good. You want to make sure the timing is right. This is the only move in the routine, so you need to just practice it. So you're here like this and you come straight up, and in the continuing action, your left, and that's why this key's here, because you need your thumb and your forefinger free. As you do this move, your thumb and your forefinger is going to grip the key here, covering up the hole at the bottom of the stem, and my right hand covers up where apparently the hole is, but there's no hole, we know that. So in full speed, I've talked a lot about it, but it's very simple. It's a case of, did you check the key out? Yeah, fantastic. Did you see anything weird about it? Did you notice it was uncut? Yeah, there's no cuts in it. And that's why I like them uncut, because it gives me verbal misdirection. Because as I say to them, blah, 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 you know, as I say to them, you know, have you noticed it's uncut? I do the move, okay? So I'm in this situation. The left hand is doing two things. It's hiding the hole, and it's also, by holding the key, it's making this hand look natural that's finger palming the other key, right? And I say, watch the key, more importantly, watch the hole. I'm going to try and pull the hole off the key. And I just pantomime pulling the hole off the key. Think about how magical that is. They've just examined this key. You come up here, and you pull the hole off. It looks so magical. Really does. You then take the hole and you say, I'm going to put this hole somewhere else. And you throw it towards the key. And I focus attention on the spectator's hand, and I say, I'm going to put the hole on the key in your hand. And I focus my attention there. Everyone else's attention goes there. And all I do is I take this key in my right hand, and this hand just drops down to the side naturally with the other key in finger palm. Okay? And I say, look, the hole is gone. It's got to go somewhere. Open up your hand. And they open up their hand, and now their key has two holes in it. And it's such a strong moment of magic when you consider all you've had to do to get to that point is one switch. So magical. But now, this key is the finale, because now you're going to get the hole onto the stem of the key. But you've already got the key in play. So I say to them, I'm going to try and put the hole back on this key. And I go back to the person over here and I say, look, do you see a hole in that key? Is there any hole at all? And I have them feel the head. Nobody's thinking that there's going to be a hole in the stem of the key. And that's why the hole being down the bottom makes this so much easier. In the original Keymaster, it was here and I had to hold it up here and it looked a bit dodgy. But down here, you can display almost the whole key. And I say, look, do you see a hole right there? You don't, do you? That's because there's no hole. I'm going to get the hole back on this key. I have them hold their hand out, and I put the key in their hand, and I'm doing the same thing that I did over here. I leave my forefinger, let me just put this here for a minute. I leave my forefinger here, and they make a fist, and as I make a fist, I just take that forefinger away. And they're left with the key with the hole in it. So now, I pick up the two-hole key from the person over here, and I show it to the audience like this, and I show that there's two holes. Now, I'm going to switch this key for this key using exactly the same move. The misdirection this time is I ask the spectator over here to pinch their thumb and forefinger together. So I'll say, you see the two, let me show you what it looks like in performance speed. You see the two holes, yeah? Can you do me a favor? Can you put your thumb and forefinger together? Very good. And just pinch the shaft right there. Very good. And it's done. They're holding here, and I've already switched the key. So it's the same move. You're just doing it in reverse. So you put your thumb onto the key, this hand turns down, this hand turns palm up. You do the same thing, and you come up, and you pinch here, and covering up apparently that second hole, you pinch here, and you say, can you hold the shaft for me? That would be amazing. Now this hand, just with the two-hole key, just drops down, and I come forward like this, and all I do is this hand comes back, and I just drop it in my back pocket. I spent ages trying to figure out what to do with this key. I thought about holding it out. For a while I held it out. For a while I went into my pocket and I pulled out the key fob, and I said, I brought out the key fob to show the key fob. And then I realized, why run if you're not being chased? Nobody ever thinks there's anything weird going on. You've shown the two holes. They're holding on here. Everyone's attention's here. I just put it in the back pocket. I snap, and they're holding onto the stem here, and I just pull this hole off. So the hole comes off. They're left holding that key. I then come over to this person, and I say, right, I'm going to get it back on the key in your hand. And I say, watch. And if it was on there now, would that be good? And they say yes. And I say, but it's my job to do something impossible. If I put the hole back on the key, that's just a normal key. I'm going to try and create an impossible object right now. I'm going to put a hole back on that key in no place that hole has ever been before. Watch. And when they open up their hand, now the hole is on the stem of the key, and your hands are empty, and everything is completely examinable. And it's such a killer routine, it really is. And the nice thing is, to reset from that, I just need to make sure, all I have to do is I walk away from the table, is just go into my back pocket, take out the two-hole key, put the one-hole key back on there, the two-hole key back on there, take the single key, put it all back in the pocket, and I'm reset, ready to go again. So it's a killer two-phase routine using the holes on keys. That was the original Keymaster routine. Now let's look at a one-key version. This is called Gatekeeper. So this is Gatekeeper. This is a one-key version of Keymaster. And this is something that I do a lot of the time as a follow-on to the Keymaster routine. Later on the project, we're going to be talking about routining all of these tricks together, because what I'm really passionate about with the Keymaster project, and it is a project, is taking all of these routines and creating an act out of them. And I'm going to talk more about that in more detail, but later on. But Gatekeeper is a great trick to follow Keymaster. So, what is Gatekeeper? Well, like I say, it's a one-key version. So all you're going to need for this is the single key and the key with the hole in the stem. Okay, that's all you're going to need, and the key fob, obviously, unless you're following Keymaster, and I'll talk about that in a second. But let's say you were performing this as a standalone piece. All you do is put the key onto your key fob. That would go into your pocket. You'd take the key with the hole in the stem. That would go into your pocket, and you're ready to perform. So when you want to do this, you reach into your pocket, and what you're going to do in your pocket is, it's going to look like you just bring out a key fob like this. But as you've brought out the key fob, you've brought out that key, and it's palmed in a very particular way. Let me show you what the way is. You're palming it here so that the key is vertical, the stem is against the base of the fingers, and the head is against the middle finger, kind of right there against the first crease. So it's like there. That's how it's finger palmed. And it's very easy to get into that position in your pocket. You just reach into your pocket. This is how quick it looks in a real time. I've now done the palm. I'm grabbing the key fob. I bring it out. It's like that. It's a very quick thing to do, right? So you're in that situation. You're going to reach. You're going to open up the key fob, take off the key. And you can either put this into your pocket or you can put it to one side and have the key examined. Now, this is all about moving the hole down the stem. Let me quickly show you what it looks like, because it looks so good. And then we'll break down the moves. So you have the key examined and you say, look, do you see the hole right there in the stem? Well, because I'm a magician, I can actually move that hole. Watch, I can actually move it right down there So it goes down onto the stem of the key. In fact, I can actually go further and I can pull it right off the key. And if I throw in midair, it goes right onto the head of the key again. It's like eye candy, it really is. It's as good in real life as it is on social media. But man, if you do TikTok or Instagram or something, this is killer. So, and the nice thing is, because of how the routine works, you can do it again and again and again. It self-resets. So what you're going to do, remembering that you've got the key in finger palm in this position, okay? You're going to hold the key, the regular key, in your left hand in a spellbound position. So I want you to imagine that the head of the key is a coin. You're holding the head of the key, you're not really touching the stem. And you're holding it with your thumb at this side and your forefinger and your middle finger at that side. Now hopefully you can catch this on the overhead cam. What you're going to do is you're going to come in like this, and this is called a thumb palm spellbound, which is used a lot by coin magicians. We're using it with keys. And what's going to happen here, if you look at this side, your thumb, it's going to look like you pull the hole down the stem. What's going to happen is your thumb comes in underneath, and the end of the stem is going to get pushed into thumb palm. As soon as that gets pushed into thumb palm, your fingers and thumb let go of that key and immediately just hold on to that key. So you come in, you let go of that key, you hold on to this key, and in the same continuing action, your middle finger makes it look like you're pulling the hole down the stem, off the head and down the stem. Now the key thing about this, pardon the pun, the important thing about this is it's meant to look like one movement like that, okay? What you don't want to do, and this is what I see a lot of people doing, and they do it wrong. They come in, they hold this position for a minute, and then they come down. It should look like you literally just show the key and pull. And then they're going to be convinced that that's the same key, okay? So you want to practice that. It's not difficult, but it will require a bit of practice if you don't do this sort of thing. And you pull it down there. Now, I guarantee you that's going to get gasps. You're in that situation. The key is in thumb palm, right? You're then going to pull this hole all the way off the stem of the key. And how you're going to, and by the way, these keys where the hole is down here, that's what makes this routine look so much more magical than the old keymaster keys. So it's going to look like you pull the hole off. Now, how you do this is you come over and you basically push that key back into the same palm that it was in before when you took it out of the pocket. And you immediately switch back to this key, holding the key, covering up the hole in the head. And in the same action, this hand comes up and makes it look like you pull the hole off the stem of the key. And in reality, all you've done is switched keys back again. So let me show you that in full speed. You're here, there's your first switch as you pull the hole down, and there's your second switch as you pull the hole off. Now, one thing I want you to notice on the second change here, so I come here, on the second change, as I pull that hole off, you're going to rotate the key vertically. So you come in, you finger palm that key, you grip this one. You're not really rotating it vertically. It looks like you're rotating it vertically, but in reality, because you're actually switching keys, this key in thumb palm is already vertical, but it should look like you just rotated it vertically, and then you can pull it off the rest of the way. So here, you point out the hole, you slide it down, you show it's here, you come in, and you take it off. So now, from the audience's point of view, this key has no hole in it, and you're holding a hole here. In reality, this is the normal key with the hole in the head. There's no hole here because there's no such thing as a hole, and this key is back in finger palm in the same hand. So now, I say, cup your hands together for me. And what I do is I do this gesture. I say, cup your hands together for me if I've got a volunteer here with me. I say, cup your hands together, and it's allowing me to make it look like my hands are empty. Because as I say, cup your hands together, both hands turn palm up, and this hand that's holding the key hides this key here. So I say, cup your hands together for me. I'll make this go back on the key in midair. Okay? And all you do is when they cup the hands, I just take the hole apparently and throw the hole right there. In reality, it looks like I'm throwing a hole back into a key in midair and a hole just appears. In reality, the hole was already there, but because of the sequence, it doesn't look like it was. So again, in full speed, there's a key with a hole in it. Watch the hole. I can pull it right down there till it's all the way at the bottom of the stem. If I want to, I can take it off all of the way. Cup your hands together for me. I'm going to put the hole and the key back on in midair, and you hand it out for examination. If you want to ditch this key, you could have put this in your pocket at the beginning. So you could have taken this key off this, put this away, kept this in palm, done the routine. So 1, 2, 3, and then as you go into your pocket to get the keychain back out, you've ditched the gimmick key. Very quick, very eye candy. And we're going to talk about how to incorporate this. Like I say, I'm going to teach you the routines. And then at the end of the routines, I'm going to teach you how to routine them together into an act. But for now, I'm going to teach you all the separate routines with Keymaster. So there you have it. That's Gatekeeper, super visual, one key routine that looks awesome. Let's go into the next routine. Okay guys, this is called Symbiotic, and this is an extension to the Gatekeeper routine that you've just learned. Now, if there's one thing that I love more than magic, it's marketing. I've got a background in marketing. I used to run my own marketing company, and I'm always thinking about tricks that I can do that get my business card into the hands of the spectators. And when I started doing Gatekeeper, which in essence, when you think about it, is a hole getting pulled down to the stem of the key, I was thinking, wouldn't it be really cool to be able to have that happen on a business card as well? So that at the end, when it's happened on the key, it's happened on the business card. And I spent ages trying to figure it out. I went through Out to Lunch, I made flap cards, and then as normal, the easiest way to do it is the simplest way, and it took me so long to figure it out. But now, when I do Gatekeeper, a lot of the time, this is the way that I do it. So, you're going to need some business cards. Let's go through the setup here. The nice thing is, the handling of this routine is just a slightly extended version of Gatekeeper. So if you've learned Gatekeeper, then you've learned the moves that you need to learn in order to do this. What you're going to need are some business cards. Now, these are my business cards. And you want to make sure that the business cards are blank on the other side, okay? And you're going to set them up in a particular way. This is designed to reset for each table. So what you're going to have, and hopefully you can see this, I have done, I think there's 4 sets here. Yeah, there's 4 sets, but however many times you want to do it in a night, that's how many sets you make up. I have drawn keys on these cards. They are the worst possible drawings of keys in the world, but you want to make them nice and big like this for a particular reason. Now, what I want you to notice is if you look at them, they're drawn the same way. So in other words, the head is here. So but what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn one of those keys around, if that kind of makes sense. So in other words, one's pointing that way, one's pointing this way, if that kind of makes sense. And you'll see why in a minute. So I've got 4 sets, and you can see that each one of them is set up the same way. With one key pointing that way, one key pointing that way. And that's important in order to do what we're about to do. So, the important thing here is you need to know where to hole punch the business card, because you're going to be using a hole punch to hole punch the business card. And you're actually going to be hole punching 2 cards at the same time. So the way to make sure of this, when you're making these cards and you're drawing the keys on, you want to kind of look at the stem of the key and where you need to hole punch in order for the stem of the key to be hole punched. And you'll see what I mean in a minute. For me, it's right there next to the P in the logo of my business card. So you can see my business card has a CP on it. At the bottom of that P, I know that if I hole punch there, I'm going to be in the right place. Now, I put a couple of blank cards at the bottom, kind of as cover, and I wrap the whole thing up with an elastic band. Okay. The only other setup is you set up your keys for the Gatekeeper routine that you learnt before. So you just put a single key right there on the key fob, and you take your key with a hole in the stem, that goes into your pocket. And whenever I'm doing Keymaster, I have a hole punch with me, because there's a couple of routines that use hole punches. So I've got the hole punch, my business cards go wherever I want to put them, and I'm good to go. So before I even introduce the keys, I introduce the business cards, and I introduce the hole punch. And what I'm going to do, by the way, there is something else you're going to need as well. Let me just run through that. You're going to need a couple of Sharpie markers, or one Sharpie marker. And this Sharpie marker, you want to have it dried out. So this Sharpie marker does not write, it's dried out. The way to make a dried out Sharpie marker is just to take a Sharpie marker, take the ink out, and then I take clear nail varnish and I paint clear nail varnish over the nib, and I leave it to dry overnight. The next day, it's going to be dried out and it's not going to write anything. Okay? So you need a dried out Sharpie marker. That goes into your pocket as well. So you're going to bring out the business cards. You're going to bring out the hole punch. Take the elastic band off the business cards. And you say, I'm going to do a drawing. I'm not the best artist in the world, but I'm going to do a drawing. Hopefully you're going to know what I'm drawing. And as I say that, I flash the bottom because it shows that they're just blank on the other side. And all you're going to do is you're just going to do a double turnover and turn two of these business cards over at the same time. Now, you can't do a normal double turnover because they're going to see that there's a drawing of a key on there already. So what I do is let me show you how I do the double turnover. I do it like this. I come up like this. So well, first of all, I get a break under the top two business cards, okay? And then I come up here like this, and my right hand grabs the left hand edge of the double with my thumb at the inner side, my middle finger on the outer side. These fingers are here, and I open it like a book. I open the two cards like a book, so I'm basically just turning them towards me, and I'm keeping a break there, okay? So it should look like this. I show the business cards, I talk about how I'm going to draw something, I get my break, and I come up like this. Okay, so that's what I've done. I've just turned over two cards. I then take my pen and I just pretend to draw something. Obviously, because it's drawn out, it's dried out, I'm not drawing anything. But I then, show that I've drawn a key. And I say, do you know what this is? A lot of the time people will go, is it a spoon? Is it, is it a shovel? And I'll go, no, it's a key. It's obviously a key. I then turn the double over. And as I turn it over normally, but as you can see, as I turn it over, I bring it inwards towards myself, which means that I can push that double forward. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to hole punch the card, and what's going to happen is you're actually going to be hole punching this card at the same time as you hole punch this one. So, let me show you what this looks like. So I've come here, I've drawn it, I've shown it, I've turned it over, I can even flash it again if I want to. I'm going to come in, I'm going to hole punch just here. So I'm going to grab my hole punch, I'm going to come down to this position and hole punch like this. And I can turn over and I can actually show that I've hole punched right there. And I say maybe that makes it look more like a key because there'll be a hole in the key. Now what I've actually done is I've put a hole right through the stem of the key on the other card. But it looks very, very deceptive. Now, if I have a regular key, if I have a regular pen in my pocket, I can then bring out that regular pen and I can ask them to sign the back of the business card if I want to. A lot of the time I don't bother, it's overkill, but you can do if you want to. The nice thing is, it really looks like that key has a hole punched through the head. I then tell somebody to hold their hand out, and I put the business card into their hand, and I have them hold it in between their hand like this. Now, you can see that the hole is down the stem. It's happened automatically. The other hole is left there, but nobody can see that. Nobody's focusing on that. You just literally take this off, put it there. Nobody's focusing on this hole. I wrap the elastic band around, and I put these away. So now, they have a business card that they think has got a hole in the head. They saw me hole punch a hole in the head. They're convinced there's a hole in the head. The hole is actually in the stem. Very easy way of doing it, just by using a double lift. So now you go into the original gatekeeper routine. So you go into the pocket, and I'm not going to go through gatekeeper again for you. You can go and look at the previous routine if you want to learn that. There's only one difference. Let me show you what the difference is. So you take the key off, you put this away, just like in the other routine. And I do the gatekeeper routine. So I show that the hole is here. I move it down to this position. I then move it and I take it off the key completely, and I throw it back on the head of the key. But I then add one extra phase. I then say, of course, if I want to, I can freeze the moment in time that the magic happens and just move it down to the stem of the key and leave it there. And I just move it down to the stem of the key and I hand it out for someone to look at. And this hand with the other key in thumb palm just goes into the pocket to take out the key fob. And it's a very natural reason to go into the pocket because I'm just taking out the key fob and I'm leaving the other key there. And I put this on here and I say, but the thing is, I said at the beginning that this key and this business card have a symbiotic relationship. Now what that means is whatever happens to this key happens to that business card. And you saw that I put a hole punch through the head of that key that was drawn on this business card. I put a hole right there. And yet if the hole is now on the stem, I have them turn it over, and when they do, they find that the hole is now on the stem of the key. And it adds an extra moment of magic. Without any extra work, really, it adds an extra moment of magic where they've seen this visibly happen, and then the card that's in between their hands the whole time now has the hole moved down to the stem of the key as well. And what's nice is you can give them this as a souvenir, and it's something that they can show people and they can talk about, and it's a great way of having them remember that moment. So that's symbiotic. It's just a nice extension to the gatekeeper routine. And this moment here is killer, because the one problem with gatekeeper is the magic really happens in your hands. But by adding this moment here, and they've got their business card there, they've got that business card there, you can have the magic extend, and you've got this beautiful kicker with it happening in the hands of the spectators. So try it. I think you'll really enjoy it. That's called symbiotic. Okay, so this is called Biz Key. Now in the previous routine, Symbiotic, I talked about how you could extend the gatekeeper routine using a business card. This is another example of something that you can do with a business card, but it extends the original keymaster routine by adding a business card, and you're going to use a completely different method. So let me go through this with you. You're going to slightly change the setup to this. So if you remember, with the original keymaster, and you can go, I'm not going to reteach that, you can go back and look at the tutorial. But with the original keymaster routine, you had the hole on the stem. You're not going to use that. Put that away. You're going to use the hole, you're going to use the key that has no hole on it at all, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to set up for the original keymaster routine. So in other words, you're going to put the single hole key on there, then you're going to put the double hole key on there. That goes into your pocket along with the key that's completely blank, all right? You need a pen, you need a Sharpie marker, and then you're going to need a specially prepared business card. Now I do this a lot, so I've got like 10 prepared business cards here. I'll show you what to do to prepare these, but basically what we have here is this looks like a normal business card. There's actually a hole in it and you can't see it. And the reason you can't see it is because I've filled it in, and you can see it if I pop this out. You can see that there's a hole right there. Let me tell you how to make this. Now the first person I saw do something like this was Michael Close in Workers #1 in the pothole trick, which haven't you seen? It's an amazing trick. What you're going to do is you're going to get yourself a single hole punch, and you're going to empty all of the empty this tray here. This is where all of the little holes that you cut get collected. You need to empty all of those out so it's completely empty. Then you need to punch a hole in a business card, and then open up the tray and shake out what's in there, and you're going to have the piece that you cut out, the punched out, is going to be there. And then all you're going to do is you're just going to take it and you're going to slowly put it in the hole like that. You're going to put it back in the hole, and that's all you're going to do, and you can't tell. And I've got like 10 of these set up, so each one of these is set up exactly the same way, because I tend to do this quite a lot, but they've all got the hole right there. Okay, so when you want to do this routine, I typically have the elastic band on here like this, and I'll have these in my pocket. When I want to do the routine, I reach into my pocket, I take out the business cards, I take off the elastic band, and I take one of these business cards. I say, we're going to use one of these. Can you put your initials on it? And I flip the top one over, and I say, can you put your initials on it? Now, from the white side, you can kind of see that there's a hole there if you look carefully. So the way to get around that is just to extend your hand like that and use your thumb to cover up where the hole is. So I extend my hand like this and I say, just put your initials there for me if you can. So they take the pen and they put their initials on there. Let's just do this. So there you go. So that's their initialed business card. And your thumb was here the whole time, so they can't see anything. I then put that to one side, and I just put it down to one side. I put the rest of the business cards away, and I say, trust me, when you've seen this trick, you're going to want that business card. I guarantee it. So you put that away. Now you're going to go into the original keymaster routine, and the ending's going to change slightly. So you go into your pocket, you show that the keys are on there. You have somebody on your right hold their hand out, you take the 2-hole key, you take it off, you show it, you put it in their hand, they hold onto that key, it's got 2 holes in it, they're not aware of that. You take the 1-hole key off, you give it to somebody on your left, you put this away, and you steal out the completely blank key. So now you're going to do the switch, just like in the original keymaster routine. You take the hole off the key, and you show it, and you show that it's gone back. When they open up their hand, it's now on this key. Now, in the original keymaster routine, you then put the hole back onto this key, and you have it in their hand, and it goes back onto this key. You don't do that here. Instead, you're going to put this. Now, remember, you've got a single holder key here. So what you're going to do is you're going to put this key away, okay? Or, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Before you put this key away, you're going to take this 2-hole key, and you're going to do the same switch as you did in the original keymaster. So you do the switch as you say, can you hold your thumb and forefinger out for me? So I'll say, you can see there's 2 holes there. Can you hold your thumb and forefinger for me, and can you hold on to that key? We don't need this one. So remember now, I've got this key here. I'm putting this one away, and I'm ditching everything in my pocket so I'm clean. They're holding onto the stem. You simply just take the hole off the stem like this. And that's the crazy moment, because now you've just pulled that hole off the key that they've been holding on to. And I say, now I could have it go back on the key, but I'm going to go one step further. I'm going to try and put it back on the card that you signed from the very beginning. Now you're going to pick this card up and you're going to quickly display it, and you've apparently got this hole here. All you're going to do is just come in, and your thumb is going to go on top of where the hole actually is. You're going to push down, and that's just pushed out that little hole. So now it's going underneath. So as I move my thumb and forefinger out the way, I can show that the hole's there. Now the little piece is there underneath the business card. It's held between my thumb and my forefinger. So now I can show that the hole is there. I can show it on both sides, and I can say, take that, have a look at it. Is the hole right there on the business card that you signed? When they take this, that just leaves that little hole here in between my thumb and my forefinger. I just drop that down on the floor, nobody sees it, and they're left with the hole that's gone onto the business card that they signed, that's been on the table from the very beginning. So if you like the original keymaster routine, and you want to incorporate a business card into it and have a giveaway where you actually give them the business card, this is a really killer way to do it. And again, like all the routines that I'm showing you here, it's pretty much an instant reset. Because all I've got to do is I walk away from the table, I just reach into my pocket, and I'm going to just grab the 2-hole key from my pocket, which is there, and I'm just going to take the key fob, I'm just going to put the single hole key back on, I'm going to put the double hole key on, put that away in my pocket, and because I've got a load of these gimmicks made up, I've got like another 9, I'm ready to do this again to another group immediately. So there you go, that's called, that's the Biz Key, and it's a really nice way of doing the original Keymaster routine, but incorporating a killer giveaway that they can take away after your performance. Okay, so this one's called a hole transposition, and this is the only one that's going to require you to get something that you probably haven't got, but it's very easy to make. You're going to basically make a gaffed coin, and it's not a gaff coin. It's really not a gaff coin. Basically, if you have a look here, I made mine out of walking liberties. You can make yours out of anything. Quarters, $half, whatever country you're in, you can make it out of anything. All I did is I went to a friend that's got a drill, and I got him to drill a hole through a coin. As you can see, there's a hole there. That's literally all you do. So you get anybody who you know that's got a drill, and you just have somebody drill a hole in a coin, and you want a regular coin to match it. So as I say, when I work, I tend to use walking liberties if I'm using $half. So you can see I've got a walking liberty here with a hole drilled through it, and I've got another walking liberty that's exactly the same, but there's no hole drilled through it. That's what you're going to need for this routine, okay? Because this is going to be a really killer transposition routine between a coin and a key, and the ending is pretty awesome. The ending's pretty awesome. It took me a long time to work out the structure of this, and it's really great. So let me go through it for you. You're going to have so the setup in your right hand pocket. You're going to have the two coins, and you'll be able to tell which one the hole is just through feel. You're also going to have the key fob with just the single hole key on it, and you're also going to have the key with the you're also going to have the regular key that's got no holes in it, the completely blank key, the new gimmick in this set. So all that goes into your right hand pocket. Because the right hand pocket is used a lot in this routine, we're going to say this area of the mat is my right hand pocket. So when I go into my pocket, you're going to see what's happening in there. So you reach in, and the first thing that you do is you bring out the key fob with the key. And what I do is I take the key fob off, I take the key off, and I hand it to someone to be examined. I put the key fob away, and I reach into my pocket and I feel for the coin that's got a hole in it. And I palm that coin in classic palm, and I bring the other coin out and I hand that to someone to examine as well. So these two objects stay in my pocket, okay? And I've got here the coin with a hole in it. These are being examined right now. And I say to them, I bring up the hook line for this is I talk about a transposition. And I say the idea of a transposition is making two things change places. And normally when magicians do a transposition, it's normally two coins, and one's copper and one's silver. Or there's two playing cards that look exactly the same from the back. Well, I'm going to try and do a transposition between a coin and a key, which are two completely different objects. So because of that, there's absolutely no way I can cheat, because you're going to be able to see the difference between both of the objects straight away. That's the opening sort of presentation, the opening patter. And that's all happening while they're examining the keys. The only other thing is you need to get this coin into the left hand. Now, if you wanted to, you could actually start off with this coin in your left hand pocket, and as you go into your pockets to bring everything out, you just get this into left hand finger palm. I just like to make sure everything's in my right hand pocket. So I need to transfer this from classic palm in my right hand into my left hand. And I just simply do a changeover like that. And all that's happening here is this is in classic palm. I bring my hands together. This drops from classic palm into fingertip, into finger palm, as I kind of just flex my fingers and I just come away, and that ends up in finger palm right there. Okay. So now I bring these objects back, and I'm going to go into the routine. And it's basically a 4-phase routine, and each phase builds. So the first phase is a transposition between a key and a coin. So you pick up the key and you show it, and you pick it up in the right hand in an open finger palm position. So the head of the key is there, the stem of the key is here, and you're just going to put it into your left hand, which makes a fist. Now, in reality, you kept it back in right hand finger palm. The left hand has got the key with the hole, has got the coin with the hole in it. So to do this, you're just going to turn your hand over. Your thumb goes on top of the key, but you don't move your thumb until you're turning your hand over. The larger motion of turning your hand over hides the smaller motion of the thumb moving. And as you do this, this hand turns palm up, but you don't want to see that there's a coin in here already. So this hand only turns palm up when this hand is over this hand. And then you make a fist. So it really does look like you're putting a key over here. And you see, remember, the key goes over here, the coin goes over here. And as you say the coin goes over here, you're just going to pick up the coin between your thumb and forefinger. And as you make a fist around it, you're going to thumb palm it. So you're just going to come back like this and thumb palm the coin. And that key does not get in the way. You just thumb palm the coin. The key just stays exactly where it is. And then you say, watch, I'm going to make them change places. It looks like this. And you show that they've changed places. Now, a couple of things have happened there. Let me just go through this. So you've done this. You've done this. You show that the key is over there just by opening your hand. This stays in thumb palm. And you're going to open up this hand, but what you're going to do is you're going to keep the hole covered. And you can do that very easily because you can feel where the hole is. So as I open up my hand, my thumb and forefinger hold it by the hole. Now, I need to get this coin with the hole in it into my right-hand finger palm and switch in this coin that's in thumb palm. And to do this, we're going to use something called a soulstone tumble change. So how this works, it looks like this. It looks very deceptive. And now I've got that whole key here, that whole coin here. What happens, remember this is in thumb palm. So you come over, and it looks like you twist this coin. And you come over, you're going to grab it in finger palm, so this goes straight into finger palm, and your hand rotates over, and you just grip the coin that's in thumb palm, and you rotate it a couple of times and just drop it down. It's not a difficult move to do. Again, here, so you're here, you take this into finger palm, and you grip this here, and you continue to twist as you drop it down there. So the whole thing in full speed is key goes over here, coin goes over here. Now I've got the key there, I've got the coin here, and the two change places. It's very deceptive, and now you've got this back here where it needs to be, okay? So that's phase one. Phase two, you're going to do the same thing, but it's a slightly different technique. Remember, you've got the coin with the hole in it here. You're going to pick up the key, and you're going to throw it into this hand, and you're going to do a bobo switch. Old move, classic move. You just pick up the key, and you hold the key here between the thumb and the forefinger. And as you apparently drop it into this hand, you just drop the coin, and this just drops into finger palm. From the front, it's very deceptive. It looks just like you just drop it into your hand. Okay, so they think the key's here. Really, it's the coin. The key is back in finger palm. So now, you pick up the coin again. You do exactly the same move. You take it into thumb palm, you shake, you show that the key is over there, and you push this to the fingertips, and you show that the coin is here. And again, I'm covering up the hole with my thumb and my forefinger. Okay, that's phase two. Now, phase three, I want this to remain in my left hand, and I want to ring in this coin that's in thumb palm. So what I'm going to do is just a shuttle pass, David Roth style shuttle pass. So I'm showing this key here, this coin here. Excuse me. I pull the coin back into finger palm, and I do a shuttle pass. So this hand is going to turn palm down as this hand turns palm up. And it allows me to switch this coin in whilst this coin stays here. It's very deceptive. Like really, really deceptive. So this ends up in finger palm here. And that's the end of phase two. So phase three, you're going to go into your pocket, and you're going to say, well, we're going to make it even more difficult. I'm going to put something in I'm going to put one of the objects in my pocket. So you take the key, and you put the key into your hand over here. Okay, so the key goes into your hand over here, and really it's a coin, just like in the first phase. And you say the coin goes into my pocket, and you pick up the coin, and you put it in your pocket, and you leave the key in there as well. So you say, remember, the coin is in my pocket, the key's over here, but if I snap my fingers, they change places. Now over here, I've got the coin, and you show the coin here, and again, cover up the hole, and the key is in my pocket, and you go into your pocket, and just through feel, you bring out the one that doesn't have a hole in it. End of phase three. But now, you're set with just two objects, a key and a coin, and the final phase is killer. Because you say, I'm going to do the final phase in your hands. Can you hold your hand out for me? You hold on to the key. So you put the key in their hand, and they've really got a key with no hole in it. And you say, you hold your hand out for me, I'm going to give you the coin. And you put the coin in their hand, and they think they've just got a coin, but they've got a coin with a hole in it. And you say, if I could make them change places one more time, would that be good? And they say, yes. And you go, yes. But I'm going to go further than that. I'm only going to make part of the object change places, which I know sounds ridiculous, but watch. And then they open up their hand, and now they've got a key with no hole in it. And when they open up their hand, they've got a hole in their coin. And it is such a killer moment. Now, there's a lot going on there, and I haven't done this with every routine, but I'm going to quickly perform it to camera just so you can see exactly what it looks like, okay? But it's one of my favorite routines to do with Keymaster, so let me show it to you. So guys, I'm going to show you something with a key. I've got a key right here on my key fob. Let me just take this off. If you could have a look at that and examine it, that would be absolutely amazing. Make sure it is what it appears to be. Make sure there's nothing weird going on. I also have a coin. Can you have a look at that coin for me? It's a Walking Liberty $50. It's a beautiful coin. Is that okay? Watch the coin, watch the key. I'm going to make them change places. Now the key starts over here. The coin starts off over here. If I squeeze, what actually happens is now the key is over here and the coin is over here. They've actually changed places. You didn't know what was going to happen. I'm going to do it again. Remember, the key is over here and the coin is over here. As long as you remember where they are, then it becomes even more weird when they change places. Again, there's the key, there's the coin. Sometimes I confuse myself. Look, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it one more time, but I'm going to put separation between the coin and the key. I'm going to put the key over here. I'm going to put the coin in my pocket. Now, you know the coin's in my pocket because you saw it. You know the key's over here, which makes this moment absolutely incredible because there's the coin. And if the coin's there, over here, I have the key. Now, the only way I could get further than that is if I did this in your hand. So can you hold up your hand for me? Lovely. You're going to hold on to the key. You hold up your hand. You're going to hold on to the coin. Hold them tightly. I'm going to make these two things change places. In fact, I'm going to go further than that. I'm only going to make part of the key and part of the coin change places. It looks like this. Did you see it happen? No? Well, I didn't make the whole key change places with the coin. I just made the whole change places. Open up your hand. You have a key with no hole, which can only mean one thing. Open up your hand. You have a coin with a hole in it, and you can examine everything. And that's the routine. It's a killer routine. The nice thing is all you have to do is put everything back into your pocket, and to reset, you just take out your key fob, you take out your real key, you put it back on the key fob, and you are ready to begin and do this again at any table you want to perform it at. And that's the coin and key transposition. Okay, so this is called key and string, and this is probably one of my favorite routines on the project. I love this. I have probably performed this more than any other routine, including the original Keymaster routine. That's how much I love it. And I don't really do ring and string anymore. I used to do ring and string for years, and I stopped doing it when I came up with this routine because I think that the ending is way more magical than anything you can do with a borrowed ring. Which is a big statement to make, but I genuinely mean it. When you do this to real people, they just freak out at the end. So what you're going to do, you're going to need just the single key on a key fob, and you're also going to need the completely blank key. And you want this accessible to your right hand. So it's either in my right hand pocket or my back pocket. Okay? And a lot of the time I'll follow the original Keymaster routine with this. So I'll do Keymaster. And then after I've done Keymaster, I'll go straight into this routine. So, you bring out the key. You have the key examined. If you can take it off the fob, that is. There you go. You have the key examined. You put the fob away. And you bring out a string and you have the string examined. Now, this used to be like a 10-phase routine. And over time, I've streamlined it down to 3 phases. 4 phases, sorry, which is enough. However, I will tell you that if you know any ring and string routines that you like, then you can incorporate those moves into this routine. So if you've got an existing ring and string routine, then by all means incorporate the moves that you like. And if you don't know a ring and string routine, Penguin Cell Ring Leader by Greg Wilson, which for me is the encyclopedia of ring moves. If you want to learn ring and string routines, go check out that DVD. It's absolutely amazing. I'm going to teach you my routine. Now for this, you want like more of a string. You know, sometimes you see people using velvet cords, and that's absolutely fine. But the holes in these keys are quite small. So you want to make sure that you've got a small piece of string. Okay, you can get it. Just go to a haberdashery. So there's 4 phases in this. And the first phase, the first 3 phases are all based off ring and string routines, and then the ending is just what makes this. So the first phase looks like this. It looks like you take the key, you put it right there, it goes onto the middle, you snap, and it comes off the middle of the string. Which, if you're a layman and you see this, it rocks their world. They don't get it, because they've just examined this string, they've just examined the key, it's impossible, and yet you see it just come straight up through the middle. Now how that works, and the first person I saw do this, by the way, is Pat Page, many, many years ago. So how it works is you're pinching the string in the left hand like this. 95% of the string is running down through the back of the fingers, and then you're pinching this here between the forefinger and the middle finger. And what you're going to do is you're going to put the string, the key onto the string here like this, and you're going to hold it in position with your thumb. Now all that's going to happen is as you pull it down into the middle of the string, you're actually going to take it off the string. So the right hand comes behind and mirrors the grip of the left hand. So in other words, you're pinching between the forefinger and the middle finger, and your thumb goes on the stem of the key. Now watch what happens when my thumb goes on the stem of the key, and as soon as my thumb holds the stem of the key, my thumb of my left hand can be removed, and my left hand is just going to come down. Now watch what happens when it comes down. It pulls the key off the string. Now nobody sees this. Let me show you what it looks like from the front. Nobody sees it. You put the key onto the string. It's here. I've mirrored the position here, moved the thumb out the way, come down to about the middle. It looks like I've just slid it down to the middle, but in reality it's already off. So I can just snap my fingers and pull straight up and show it's come off the string. And that is such a killer moment. That's phase one. Phase two. You're going to put the key on the string, and this time you're actually going to put it on there. But I act like maybe I'm doing something dodgy, because then I can say to somebody over here, it's really on there, isn't it? And a lot of the time they'll grab it and take it, and I go, I can't believe you don't trust me. And it allows me to kind of say, I can't believe you don't trust me, and show that it really is on there. Now this second phase, the first bit, the actual way that you remove the key, is based on Leaving Home from Jay Sankey. Now Leaving Home is a one-phase routine that Jay put out years ago. It was on his L&L DVD set, where he took a key, tied it onto some string, pulled it off, and it went back on again, and it used a duplicate key. We're not using a duplicate key. It's not tied on there or anything like that. We're only using one key, and he used a striking move and the two-way toss to get it back on there, which is insanely difficult. This is way easier, but the way that we're going to apparently take the key off is based on Leaving Home. So what you're going to do is how you hold this in the right hand is important. You can see that I'm holding this whole thing here with my forefinger here. Study that grip, because that's the grip that you need. And you're going to apparently take the key in the left hand. In reality, you're not actually taking the key in the left hand, despite the fact that it looks like it. What I'm actually doing, and if you, hopefully you can see this if I come around here like this, my thumb goes into the loop, and I just pinch it so it's outside the fist. Now this is completely angle proof, because when I hold it like this, you can't see anything from the left because of the hand, you can't see anything from the runt, and my right hand is covering the right hand side. It's completely angle proof. But basically it looks like you're gripping the key, but really it's on the outside of the fist like this, which means that when I let go, I can re-grip like this and pull up here, and now I've taken the key into this hand. Okay, so let me do that again. Let me do it in full speed so you can see what it looks like. In full speed, it looks like that. Okay, and here, your right hand's going to come underneath, and as it comes underneath, it takes the key, slides the key back like this, and then this just your thumb comes out from behind, from through there, and you're in this position. It's an easy move to do. It just takes a bit of practice, but when you do it in full speed, it really quite looks very deceptive. And what you do is you pull up and you show that it's come off, and then what I do is I show it's gone back on again, and it looks really deceptive. Look how good that looks. It really does look like you show a key on a string, you come here, you pull up, and you go back on. Okay, so it's here, right hand grips it and pulls it back up the string, and then the important thing is you come up, it's on your thumb at the moment, so you just move your thumb out the way, so it ends up pinched between the forefinger and the side of the thumb. You come up here, it looks like it's come off. The key is actually held in this position, so to put it back on again, you just go 1, 2, 3, and on the count of 3, this hand opens as this key drops. And it just looks, the illusion is that it just looks like it goes right back there onto that string. Bit of practice, not that difficult if you just practice it, but you get it right. It looks very deceptive. So that's phase 2. Phase 2 is you pull it off and you throw it back on again. Phase 3 is a misdirection thing, where you're going to do the same move as in phase 2, but the way that it goes back on is completely different. Let me show you what it looks like. So at the end of phase 2, I say, now, I'm going to let you do it yourself. I say to somebody in the audience, I'm going to let you do it yourself, so let me teach you how to do it so you know. First of all, you give it a pull so you make sure it's on there. Second of all, the important thing is you pull up. It's very important that you pull up. You pull up like this, it comes off, and then you blow, and it goes right back on. Any questions? And it's that misdirection thing. So what's going to happen, it's exactly the same moves as phase 2. But it's way more powerful because of how you're actually getting it to go back on. So you do exactly the same move to pull it off. You say this is how you pull it off, and you go to get it back on, and you're going to do a pendulum thing. This hand comes down as this hand comes up. They think the key's here. You blow, and as you blow, you just let go of the key and you allow it to drop back onto the thing. You blow, and you go, that's when it goes back on to the key. Honestly, you'll have people screaming at that point. That is such an amazing moment, especially after they've seen the second phase. So they've seen the second phase, like here, and then you say, well, let me teach you how it works. It's very simple. You pull like this and it comes off. You blow and it goes back on. Any questions? Are you following this? Everyone's just like freaked out at that point. They can't follow what's going on. And that gives you the misdirection you need to steal the key in your back pocket or your side pocket. So I take everything into my left hand and I point to somebody and I say, do me a favor, give it a pull, make sure it's on there. And as they do that, and I'm focusing everyone's attention over here, my right hand just steals the key. And it steals it into a thumb palm. I then say, so remember, for the big finish, you're going to do this yourself. Are you ready? And they say, yes. Now, all you're going to do is, remember, they can see that the key's on there. You take the key and you put it into your hand like this. It's going to look like that. And what I've done here is I've actually switched keys. So let me slow this down here for you. So you've stolen this into thumb palm. They've pulled on here. Everything's fine. The key goes into this hand so that the stem of the key is pointing towards the little finger. So it just goes in here like this. And I make a fist around it. So I've basically got it in a finger palm. I make a fist around it. The string is still around it. And I say, do me a favor, hold out your thumb and forefinger. So my reason for putting it there is to gesture with my left hand so I can show them what I want them to do. So I go, look, you've checked the key is on there, correct? Yes, it's on there. Brilliant. Can you do me a favor? Can you take your thumb and forefinger and pinch it together? Now I'm apparently going to take the key and bring it up, but I'm actually going to take the thumb palmed key and bring that one up. So they think that's the same key. Now the beautiful thing about this is it's not the same key, obviously. So it's very easy for them to pull this off because it's already off. But this is why this final moment here is so strong. They hold on to this key, and I say to them, you hold on very carefully. On the count of 3, you're going to pull up like this. And you're going to pull up, and the key's going to come off, and if it does come off, everyone's going to give you a big round of applause. So they hold on here, and they go 1, 2, 3, and they lift it up in the air. Everyone gives them a big round of applause. They don't look at the key. They've just pulled the key off the string. They're not looking at the key. The key doesn't even have a hole in it. So they've just pulled this off here and they're holding it in their hand. And now I can say, well done, you got it off the gate, you got it off the string. And all I'm going to do is as I show the string, I'm just going to take it off the key in my hand, which leaves that in finger palm. And I say, of course, the thing I don't understand is how we even got it on the string in the first place when there's no hole in the key. And now they hold on to the key. They're holding on to it. You haven't touched it. And they look at it. And now there's no hole in the key. The routining behind this is really strong. Because normally, if you were going to show there's no hole in the key, you'd have to switch the key. But they're doing the switch for you. They're holding on to the key and pulling it off. Everyone's reacting. They think that's the end of the trick. And then you say, there was never a hole in the key. And now they look at the key. And now everything's examinable because that's there. You just drop that into their hand and they're just left with a key with no hole in it. It's impossible to thread it onto a string and they've just completely lost track of what the hell is going on. You're left with the regular key here. All you do is you put your hands in your pocket and you just ditch that. No one's looking at you at that point. I really love this. I really do. I think this is one of my favorite things to perform. The reset is very, very easy because all you're going to do is you walk away from the table is you're just going to put this back onto the key fob, put your piece of string away wherever it is that you keep it, put this back in your pocket, and you reset, ready to go again. And there you go. That's the key and the string routine. I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so this is called Eclipse key, and it's basically a very quick bit that I wanted to share with you that gets a way stronger reaction than really it should. That's based on Paul Harris's Twilight, where the mirror makes more coins appear, but with keys. And the person who originally gave me the idea for this was Lloyd Barnes, my friend Lloyd. And what you need is you need a mirror. This is a pocket-sized mirror. These are called credit card mirrors. They're mirrors that are credit card size that can fit into your credit card compartment in your wallet. So this, and I use these for a few different things. They're great. So you need a mirror. And as well as that, you're just going to need a 1-hole key and a 2-hole key. So the setup for this is the 2-hole key goes into your left-hand pocket, the 1-hole key is on the stem, and that goes right here into your right-hand pocket, and the mirror is either in my wallet or in the top pocket or somewhere like that I can get to it very easily. And this is one that I would never do as a standalone piece. It's incorporated into a longer routine, but as I say, we'll get to that a little bit later on. So you go into your pocket, and you both hands go into your pockets, and both hands come out. Your left hand has got your 2-hole key, and your right hand comes out with your key fob with the 1-hole key on it, which you take off and you hand it out for examination. And you bring out the mirror as well, and you have somebody else examine the mirror. Now, it's a very simple, quick bit. All you're going to do is you're going to switch this key for the 2-hole key, and make sure they examine it. You want them to understand there's only 1 hole there. You switch into this hand, and I cover up the 2nd hole, and then I just put my key fob away, ditching the 1-hole key. And all I do is I take the mirror, and I put the mirror, and hopefully this will show up. I put the mirror right there, just below the outer hole. And I say, watch the key. If I put the mirror right there, because of how mirrors work, it looks like there's 2 keys. But the thing with magic is you can turn illusion into reality. Watch. And I slowly move this mirror away. And as I do, they see that there's 2 holes. Now, I'll end it there a lot of the time. I'll absolutely end it there. 9 times out of 10, I'll end it there. If you want to, as they're looking at that, and trust me, at that point, they are going to want to look at this, you can switch this back. And if you want to, you can switch this back, and you can do exactly the same thing, but in reverse. So you can have the 2 holes there, and you can come forward until the 2 holes become 1 hole, and then you can come away, and you can show there's only 1 hole there now. And you can actually do a second beat where you put the hole back in place. This is a nice pseudo explanation. You know, so after you've done keymaster and people go, oh, how do you make 2 holes appear? Well, you go, it's really simple. You just use mirrors. You ever heard the expression smoke and mirrors? Well, that's how you do this. You just use mirrors. You think I'm joking? Let me show you. And it's just a really nice bit that you can do as a pseudo explanation. But I'll tell you right now, when I do this, a lot of the time, if I'll speak to spectators afterwards, they'll come back to me and they'll go, can't believe the thing with the mirror. It's very easy to overlook this because it is incredibly simple. It's just a switch and a mirror. But when you actually try it in the real world, it gets a killer reaction. So give it a shot. It's called Eclipse key. It's very easy to perform. It's great for social media. It looks really good for social media. Get the camera in really close. It looks great. And it's very easy to do. Okay, so now we're going to be looking at a routine called Holy Bill, which is a way of actually combining keymaster with a borrowed, well, I tend not to use a borrowed bill. You can do, I tend not to, using a bill. And it creates a really, as Paul Harris would say, a really moment of astonishment. So there's a few things you're going to need for this. From a key point of view, you're going to need 3 keys. You're going to need the 2-hole key, you're going to need the 1-hole key, and you're going to need the key with a hole in the stem. Sorry, no, you're not. You're going to need the key that's completely blank. So those are the 3 keys that you're going to need. As well as that, you're going to need 2 bills. So I'm using $5 bills here. And what I want you to see, what I've done here, is I've used a hole punch to punch a hole in the bill, and I've drawn a blue circle around it with Sharpie. And I've got another bill, exactly the same, with a circle drawn around it, but there's no hole. Okay? And I also have a thumb tip, because we're going to be using the $100 bill switch for this, which I will go through with you. That's not a problem. But what you're going to do is you're going to take the bill with the hole in it, and you're going to fold it up. You're going to put it in the thumb tip, ready for the $100 bill switch. So we'll put that there. We'll pretend that's my pocket. The setup for this is on the key fob. You're going to put the one-hole key, and then the two-hole key, like you were doing the original keymaster routine. And this, that's the key with no hole in it at all. That's going to go into your left-hand pocket. So that goes into your left-hand pocket. That goes into your right-hand pocket with the thumb tip. This goes into your wallet. Now, you could borrow a bill and do this, because this is a normal bill with just a blue circle drawn around it. So you could remember where you need to draw the blue circle, because it needs to be drawn in the same way that's on the other one that's folded up in the thumb tip. You could borrow a bill and say, hey, I'm going to take a Sharpie marker and just draw a circle there. And that's how I used to do it. But now, I tend not to. Now, I have this in my wallet, and I'm just set up to do it. So I don't have to borrow money if nobody's got any money, because obviously these days a lot more people are using Apple Pay and credit cards. So I can just bring this out my wallet and I can say, hey, let me show you something with the bill. Totally your choice. That's in my wallet. That's in my left-hand pocket. That's in my right-hand pocket. I'm ready to go. So here's how it looks. What you're going to do is you're going to start off by giving keys out to people. So both hands go into your pockets. Your left hand finger palms the blank key, as your right hand comes out with the key fob. And you want to make it look like you're just reaching for something. I need some keys for this. Oh, hang on, I've got them, here you go. And this hand just comes out with the key and finger palm. Now you want to display this in exactly the same way as you did with the original keymaster routine. Don't have them around this way, it kind of gives the game away. And what you're going to do is you're going to say to the person on the, you're going to have somebody on the right, somebody on the left, and you're going to have them both hold onto keys. So you say to the person on the right, hold your hand out for me if you can, please. Very good. I'm going to give you one of these keys. I'd like you to hold onto it until later on. That would be amazing. And you give them the two-hole key exactly as you did in the original keymaster routine. You take the second key off, and you say, this key right here, I'd like you to hold on to that. We'll get back to this a little bit later on. And you switch this key for this key using a shuttle pass, which we have discussed numerous times now in this project. You switch this for a shuttle pass. I hold the key as if I'm covering up the hole, even though there's no hole there. And this person holds onto this one tightly. So they both think they've got a key with a hole in it. They've got two holes. They've got no holes. You've got a real key finger palmed here. And I'm just going to take this key fob, put it away, and as I put it away into my pocket, I'm going to ditch the key, and in my pocket, I'm going to get my thumb into the thumb tip, okay? So in my pocket, which would be a lot easier if I was in my pocket, this is going to just go onto my thumb tip, okay? The thumb tip's going to go onto my, my thumb. I then reach into my pocket and I take out the $5 note, the $5 bill, or you can take it out your pocket or take it out of a wallet. And I open it up and I show it. And I say, do you see the blue circle here? The blue circle is kind of like a target. I'm going to try and do something with both of your keys. I'm going to start off with your key. And I point to the person on the left and I say, I'm going to start with your key. It is very important, and I'll explain why in a second. It is very important that you start with the person that has no hole in their key. And you'll see why in a second. So you say, I'm going to start off with your key. Hold it tightly. Watch. Now you're going to do the $100 bill switch. So let me show you what it looks like. It looks like I take that bill, fold it in half again, fold it in half again, give a little shake, and then when you open it, what actually happens is, oops, there you go. When I open it, what actually happens is a hole has appeared right there in between the blue circle. Okay? Which is an incredible moment. It looks like you just fold up a bill, they examined it, the bill was normal, and then when you unfold it, there's a hole right there in the blue circle. And you say, I told you, this is a target, right? This is a target, and I was trying to get the hole off your key into this target, and I managed it. How amazing is that? You then have them open up their hand, and their key has no hole in it, which is incredible. Think about this for a minute. I mean, obviously, as magicians, we know about the $100 bill switch, but think about this for a layperson. They examine the bill. It can even be a borrowed bill. And a hole has just appeared, and it's gone from a key in their hand onto the bill. Incredible moment. Then you say, I'm going to make your hole jump onto this bill as well. Now, what's actually going to happen is the hole is going to kick back into their hand. But the reason that I constructed the routine the way it's constructed is they're going to be expecting the key in their hand to have the hole disappear. So what a layman is going to do is they're going to feel with their fingers to see if they can still feel a hole. And they are still going to be able to feel the hole. They aren't going to try and, it's impossible to tell that there's two holes in the key. They're just going to feel, yep, the hole's still there. If we did it the other way around and they feel and there's no hole there, they'll probably open up the hand and go, oh, it's already gone. So the beautiful thing about using this key, because originally I thought maybe I should have two keys without holes in it, and I was like, no, because of this reason. It's much better this way around. So they will feel, and they'll be able to check, and they can feel in their hand that the hole's still there. So now all I have to do is another $100 bill switch. So I do exactly the same $100 bill switch that I did before, and this time, when I open up, now, you go, oh, hang on a minute. There were meant to be two holes there. There's no holes. The hole's gone. Oh, that can only mean one thing. Open up your hand. And when they open up their hand, now there's two holes in their key. And it's just, it's so strong. It's so much stronger than really it should be, you know, because it's a very simple thing, really. But it's ridiculously strong. And the nice thing is, it's pretty much an instant reset because the thumb tip is set back up to do exactly the same thing. So you can either give their bill back to them if you borrowed a bill, or put it back into your wallet and you're ready to do again. And if you think about it, it's magic that happens in the spectator's hands. They're both holding onto keys, and one at a time, something crazy happens to the keys, and at the end, everything is examinable. And halfway through, everything is examinable. It's really strong. So let's just talk about the $100 bill switch. And I think that we're going to maybe get this from above, possibly. Let me talk to you about how it works. So to set it up, you want to fold it in a very particular way. So you fold it in half, then you fold it down, then you fold it across, then you fold it down. Okay? Then you put it into the thumb tip, so all the foldy bit, it's like a V going into the thumb tip. So what you're going to do is you're going to show the bill, and you can show it on both sides like this. When you want to do the bill switch, you fold in half like this, and then your thumb goes on top of the thumb tip and pulls it off slightly, loosens it. So my thumb is barely in it now. Then you fold the front down like this, and these fingers fold this part across. And as these fingers fold this part across, the thumb tip goes here, and my thumb goes on top of it, keeping it in left-hand finger palm, and the bill comes out behind this bill, okay? And then all I have to do is fold this part down like this. Now, I like to give it a shake at this point to kind of make the magic happen. A lot of people just open it up, but I give everything a turn at this point as I shake it. And then I open up here. Now this is actually the bill that's switched in. This is the bill that's switched out. So I open up here, and this is behind the bill. They can't see anything. I push this part of this bill against the thumb tip and push this in like this, which allows me to open up here, put my thumb in here and push slightly as I open this up. Then you open up this here from like this, and then finally you open up this here like this, and you've done the switch. So in full speed, exposed view, you're here, 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 give a little shake, open, 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 open. That's the exposed view. For sure, there's a million bill switches out there. If you have another bill switch that you want to use, that's fine. You just need to use any bill switch that switches a bill in and then switches it back in. So you need to be able to do the switch twice, which is why the $100 bill switch is perfect for this. But if you know another bill switch, Bill Breaker would probably work by Bizarro. There's a few that would work. Just pick the one that you like the best. The point isn't the switch. The point, you could literally just fold it up into a package and do a flying shuttle pass. The point is the construction of the routine where they're holding 2 keys and the bill that you've been showing the entire time is where the holes are disappearing and appearing onto. And that's what's really magical about this routine. So anybody who knows my body of work knows that I love any card at any number. Well, this is kind of like an any card at any number, but with holes. I call it any hole on any card. And it's a really cool, freely named card, and a hole jumps onto that card. There's some pretty insane visuals in here as well. Now, there's a couple of things you're going to need for this. You are going to need a deck of cards. Now, the only important thing about this deck is both jokers have to be identical, which is why I recommend the Elite Editions, Penguins Elite Editions, because as well as, you know, handling really well, you have 2 jokers that are identical, and that's what you need. Now, the setup for the deck, all you're going to, there isn't really a setup. You can do it on the fly, but if you want to set this up beforehand, you put 1 joker on top, and then you put 1 joker about 10 or 15 cards down from the top. That's the only setup. And because you're getting them to name a card, you want them to, you want to have the card in there, right? So you want to make sure it's a full deck of cards. As well as that, you need your key fob, and you need 2 keys. Your 2-hole key and your 1-hole key, and you're going to set it up just like you did with the original Keymaster, and you're going to have it set up like that. That goes into your pocket. So when you are ready to do the trick, what you're going to do is you're going to come out and you're going to bring out a deck of cards. Oh, there is one other thing you need. Sorry about that. The other thing you need is a hole punch, and you are going to need a Sharpie marker. So there's a couple of things that you need here. So Sharpie marker, hole punch. Hole punch goes into the back pocket. You're pretty much good to go now, right? So you're good to go. So what you're going to do is you start off by bringing out a deck of cards. You say, we're going to get back to that deck in a minute. I also need some keys. You go into your pocket and you say, I've got a couple of keys here, but I'm only going to need 1 of them. And what you're going to do is you're going to ask somebody on the right to hold out their hand, and you open up the key fob and you're going to take the 2-hole key off and you're going to put it in their hand, and you're going to get them to squeeze their hand around it. So you're loading into their hand a key with 2 holes, even though there's only 1. When I first created this routine, I was switching keys in and out, and then I kind of realized, why run if you're not being chased? Just, you know, they're going to assume that there's 2, they're going to assume that both of these keys are normal anyway. So you may as well just reach in, take out one of the keys, put it into their hand, and you're good to go. You then take the other key off and you say, the other key, I don't need the key fob, I'll put those away, and you put them in your pocket. The important thing here is you want to have that single hole key separate. So you don't want to leave it on the key fob, because you need to palm that at one point, and it's going to be almost impossible to palm that out if it's left on the key fob. So you take it off the key fob as you say, I don't need this key, I don't need the key fob, we'll put that away, we just need the key that you're holding on to. So that's where we are with that. Right, now, you open up the deck, and you say to somebody, can you name a card for me? We'll get back to it a little bit later on. And you have them name a card. And you say, great, don't worry about that for now. We're going to get back to it a little bit later on, because I'm going to do a trick with a joker. I'm going to show you something amazing with a joker. Oh, by the way, can you hold on to this hole punch? And you give the hole punch out to somebody to hold on to as well. So somebody's got a key, somebody's got a hole punch, somebody has named a card. Let's say they name the 5 of clubs. What you're going to do is you're going to spread through, and you're going to up jog the joker when you get to it. And what you want to do is, as you're looking for the joker, you want to cull the card that they named. So in this case, the 5 of clubs. As I come to the 5 of clubs, I'm going to cull it underneath the spread. I'll show you what the cull looks like in a second. I then up jog the joker, and I square everything up. So in other words, the 5 of clubs has gone to the top above the joker, and then you spin the other joker out and you put that to the top face up. So you end up with a joker, the named card, and the other joker. Right? Now, let's just show you the cull. So, the cull, very simply, is here. So, to cull a card, what you're going to do is, and I'll bring it up here so hopefully you guys can see, you're going to take the card that you want to cull, in this case the 5 of clubs, you're going to line it up with the card above it, in this case the queen, And all you're going to do underneath the spread, your fingers, your right-hand fingers are going to pull that 5 back, and then the rest of the cards are just going to ride on top of it like this. When you get to the joker, you up jog that, and then that 5 gets fed to the back of the deck. It's not a difficult move to do. There's lots of places that you can learn how to do a cull really, really well. One of the best sources I've seen for learning the cull is a download that you can get from Penguin Magic. It's Out of This Zip Code by Eric Tate. So if you want a really good way of looking at how to do a cull, that is a really good download that I'd recommend looking at. You're not being chased at this point. You're just looking like you're up dogging a joker. So there's nothing really to worry about. So, you know, you're just culling the card, and when you get to the joker, you up jog it, and then everything goes to the back. Now, what I like to do at this point is I hold the joker. I apparently hold the joker, but I take off a triple. So I take off the joker and the selected card and the other joker. I take off the triple and I say, actually, before I get any further, can you give those cards a shuffle for me? And I just give the cards out to be shuffled, and I'm apparently just holding a joker here. In reality, I'm actually holding 3 cards. And then I take the deck back when they've shuffled it, and I put everything back on top of the deck. It just gives an extra layer, which I feel is important. But if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to take that joker, and you're going to apparently hole punch it. And in reality, you're going to hole punch the joker, and you're going to hole punch the 5 underneath it at the same time. And you're going to use the same technique that we actually used in the symbiotic routine, where we hole punch 2 business cards at the same time. So what you're going to do is you're going to push a double forward. So that's actually a joker and the selected card. You're going to push a double forward, and you're going to take your hole punch, and you're just going to hole punch here like this. So you're just going to hole punch apparently through the joker, but you've hole punched through 2 cards. You then push these 2 cards back, and you just take off this one and show it's the joker. And notice my thumb is covering up the hole that's been made through the other card. So in full speed, when I've done that hole punch thing, I just come back and I say, you can see the hole right there through the joker. Is that fair? And they say yes. Now, all you're going to do, you need to get rid of this 5 of clubs with the hole through it. So all you're going to do is you're just going to do a slip cut. So you just literally slip cut that card down into the middle of the deck. Now, if you don't know what a slip cut is, by the way, it's very, very simple. You keep your thumb on top of the hole, you lift up about half the deck, and because your thumb is pushing down, it slips that card down into the middle, and you drop that on top. But done at full speed, it looks like you just give the deck a cut. So in full speed, from this position, you just hole punch the card, and you say, there you go, you can see that's not an illusion. You can actually see that that joker has got a hole punched right through it. You can have a look at that. Is that fair? It is. Now watch very carefully. And now what you're going to do now is you're going to do the first phase. And the first phase is making the hole disappear off the joker and appear on the key in their hand, which is very easy to do, mainly because there's already a hole on the key. So all we have to do is get rid of the hole on the joker. And this is a technique by Gary Jones and Lee Smith. They first put this out on a DVD called Eye Candy about 11 years ago, and it was from RSVP Magic. And it's a variation on the Erdnase change. And what it looks like is you show the joker. Let me show you what it looks like. You show the joker with the hole in it, and you go, watch, if I just rub, I can take the hole right off the joker. And it looks like you pull the hole off the joker. Now, what's actually happening is you're doing an Erdnase change, but you openly out-jog the top card. So you out-jog the top card, and then you cover, and you're going to do an Erdnase change, but without pushing that card forward, because the card's already pushed forward. So you're going to come in, and you're going to pull the card underneath that card back. If you don't know the Erdnase change, your Mound of Venus hits this card, and as you come back, it takes the card with it. And then what you're going to do is come forward so that you're going beyond this joker, so you can see you're here. And then as you come back, your forefinger is going to pull that into alignment with the deck as you rub, and it looks like you just rub the hole off the joker. In full speed, you show the joker and you say, watch. It really does look very, very deceptive, okay? And it's not difficult to do. If you can already do the ordinary change, you can do this. So again, it's out jogged. You pull back like this. So this is now in this position. And in essence, what's going to happen is that's going to come forward and your forefinger is going to pull that back as you apparently take the hole off. They did it with a torn card. I'm doing it with a card with a hole in it. But when you get it right, you can show the hole right there on the joker and you can rub and take the hole back off like that. It's very, very good. And then notice my hand is just kind of being wrist killed slightly to hide the fact that there's a hole there. So the hole disappears off the card and you say, because the question is, where has it gone? And they open up their hand, and when they open up their hand, they've now got the hole on the key that they've been holding on to the whole time, which is a really killer moment. It really is. Now, we're going to make the hole disappear off the key and go onto the card that they named earlier on. So the way to do this is you take the joker back and you put it on top of the deck. And I typically just put the deck down on the table and I pick up two cards here. So I'm actually picking up the joker and the other joker with the hole in it. Okay, so I take this card back, put it here, and I pick up on two cards as I put the deck down here. And I say, let me get rid of the jokers. We're going to go one step further. I put the jokers away, which gets rid of the card that can't be examined, and also gives me a reason to go into my pocket so that as I come out, I can take the one whole key. Now all I do is I do the same thing that I did in the original keymaster routine. So I show the two hole key here, and I have the person on the side say, hold on to the stem, and as I do that, I do the switch. This hand comes back and ditches it into my back pocket like before, and I take the hole off, and I say, watch, boom. I've thrown it back into the deck, but I've thrown it onto one particular card. What was the name of the card that you picked? And they say 5 of clubs, and you spread through the deck, and you can show that the 5 of clubs is the only card with a hole now on it. And the freely named card that they named has now had the hole jump onto it off the key, and everything is examinable, and you can give them this as a souvenir because you know that you don't want to keep it in your deck, so you can keep that as a souvenir. And that's it. And then from a reset point of view, it's a really easy trick to reset, because as you walk away from the table, all you're going to do is just take your two hole keys and you're just going to put them back on, which again is the same setup for keymaster, so that's quite good. Now the only thing that's important to note is one of the jokers has now got a hole in it. So in order to do this again, you need to get another joker, so or a duplicate card. So you could have get yourself a forcing deck of jokers. If you plan on doing this routine a lot in one evening, you could have 5 or 6 jokers in your top pocket. So the only thing you'd need to do then to reset it is to put one of the jokers on top of the deck, and then put one of the jokers about 5 or 6 cards down, and you reset. Either way, it's a really strong routine, and the nice thing is there's a lot of time misdirection between the time that they name the card and when the hole disappears for the second time. And a lot of the time you'll find that people have even forgotten that they named the card. So when you go back to them and you go, what was the card that you named again? 5 of clubs, right? Watch this, boom. And then it's the only one with a hole on. It really gets them because they just don't see that coming. So there you go. I hope you enjoy it. That's any hole on any card. Okay, this one's called Hole Jumper, and it's another card routine. I'm going to be honest with you. I love this trick. I really do. This is not the sort of routine that you're going to want to do a million times in one night. This is probably a parlor show trick, or this is kind of a one trick and you're done thing. It's incredibly strong, but it's not the sort of thing you want to do over and over again. There's a bit of a setup to it. But it's really, really strong. So what you're going to need first of all is you're going to need a deck of cards, and the deck is gaffed. And although it's gaffed, it's what I call a passive deck. What I mean by that is it's gaffed, but you can examine it in generally. So let me explain the setup of the deck first of all before we go any further. So the deck is roughed on the back. Every single card is roughed on the back. Now the best way to make a deck of cards where every single card is roughed on the back is by buying yourself an invisible deck and then just taking it apart, and then you've got a deck where every single card's roughed on the back, because that's what an invisible deck is. It's a deck of cards that are roughed on the back. So if you just take the cards and unseparate the pairs and just put them all so they're facing the right way and shuffle them, wham bam, that's what you got. So you don't just buy yourself an invisible deck if you like this routine. I have a lot of work on this particular deck where they're roughed on the back, and I love it because they handle like a normal deck. You can shuffle them like a normal deck. Any routine that you'd normally do, you can do. But the fact that you've got a deck of cards that are roughed on the back opens up lots of possibilities that you can't do with anything else. And this is one of the things. So the setup for this deck. So first of all, you need a deck of cards that are roughed on the back. Second of all, you need to take let's use a king of clubs, for example, because I tend to use the king of clubs. You're going to take a regular king of clubs out of a deck, okay? And you're going to take a regular two of hearts out of a deck as well. So you're going to have a regular two of hearts, you're going to have a regular king of clubs. Now to set up, you're going to take the roughed king of clubs, in other words, the king of clubs that is part of this deck, and you're going to put it second from the bottom, face down. Which means that when I spread through the deck like that, you won't see the king of clubs because these two cards are going to rough together, okay? The other king of clubs is going to go on top of the deck, and then you're going to have the two twos. You're going to have you're going to have the two of hearts from this deck, in other words, the one that's roughed on the top, and then you're going to take the other two of hearts, you're going to punch a hole in it, all right? And that is going to go right there on top of the deck. That's your setup of the deck. Now, I said that you wouldn't want to do this over and over again in one night. You can repeat it over and over again if you don't have the card signed. If you don't have the card signed, then you can do it over and over again, and it's a very quick reset. But if you have the card signed, it becomes a nightmare to reset. Not a nightmare, but it takes like longer than I would be prepared to reset the trick. So it's a judgment call on your behalf whether you have the card signed or not. Arguably it's stronger having the card signed, but it's totally up to you. So they go into your into the box, and remember it's a two of hearts with a hole in it, then your roughed two of hearts, then your roughed king of clubs, then your roughed deck, and at the bottom of the deck you've got your roughed king of clubs. All right, that goes inside the box. You also need a hole punch that goes in your back pocket, and you're going to need your keys set up to do the original keymaster routine. So in other words, one hole, two holes, they go in your right hand pocket, and if you're going to do it with a signed card, that goes in your top pocket. Now you're ready to begin. So here's what's going to happen. So you're going to bring the deck out, and you're going to say, I'm going to show you something with the deck of cards. First of all, I've got some stuff to give to people. You reach into your back pocket, you take out the hole punch, give it to somebody on the right. That's important. You'll see why in a bit. You then reach into your pocket, and you're going to use exactly the same principle that you used in the previous routine, any hole in any card. So you're going to show the two keys. You're going to open up, you're going to take the two hole key, get them hold a hand out, and you're going to put that in their hand. So you've put a two hole key into the spectator's hand from the very beginning. You then take the one hole key off, and you say, look, we don't need the other key or the key fob, and you put those away in your pocket. So in other words, the key is loose because you're going to bring that back into play later on. And then you bring out the deck. So when you bring out the deck, you can spread through the deck face up and show it. And this reverse card is not going to show because the cards are roughed together. So you can spread through the cards quite freely. And when you turn it over, you want to make sure that the hole is outermost towards your audience. Now they won't see the hole because it just blends in with the back design, so don't worry about trying to cover it or something. Nobody's going to worry about that. And step one is to force the two of hearts on somebody. So I just use a riffle force. So I just cut the deck, hold a break, and I have them say stop. Wherever they say stop, I cut at that point, and I say fantastic, this is going to be your card. I do a double turnover, and I show a two of hearts. Now if you're going to get the card signed, you're going to get this card signed first of all. And how you're going to do it is you're going to turn the double back over, and you're going to hold the card like this and have them put their initials in the center of the card. And the reason you're holding it like that is you're covering up the hole. They're not going to see the hole because it blends in with the back design, but if they're really close up signing it, they might see something. So the way to get around that is just to hold the deck like this and just say, sign the back of the card for me if you can, please. So I'm going to demonstrate it without the cards being signed because that way it's going to pretty much reset. But, you know, it's totally up to you. If you are going to have it signed, this is the step. This is the point. You're going to sign it right here. Sign that card for me. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take that card off. And the nice thing is, as you take it off, you're going to hide it with your thumb. You're going to hide your thumb. You're going to put your thumb over the hole. And you can show it again. So if you've signed it, you can show that that's their signed 2 of hearts. And you can very cleanly show it on both sides. And you're going to put that card inside the card box and give it somebody to hold on to. And you say, I want you to remember that your 2 of hearts that you signed is in that card box and it's going to stay in there until later on in the routine. So now that card is there and that's ready for the big finale because the hole is eventually going to jump onto that card inside that box. You then pick up the deck and you're going to do another riffle force. Oh, sorry, before you do, you've got that other 2 of hearts here. You need to get rid of that. And you need to get rid of it into a position where it won't show up when you're spreading through the deck later on. The best place to do that is to slip cut it about 10 cards from the bottom. So you're just going to lift up on about 40 cards and you're just going to slip cut that 2 to about 40 odd cards down. If you put it in that position, roughly around about that position, it's not going to show up later on because you don't want the second 2 to show up when it's meant to be in the card box. So now you've got the 2 kings on, you've got the king on top of the deck, the regular king. So you're going to do a riffle force now. So you're going to cut the deck, hold a break, have them say stop. Wherever they say stop, you cut the deck at that point and you show the king. Now, if you're going to have the card signed, this is where you're going to get that card signed. You're going to have the back of that card signed. So you give it to somebody and you say, can you sign that king for me, please? And if you don't want to, that's fine. You can just show the king. Either way, when they're signing the card or when they're looking at it on the table, you're going to get a break underneath, above the bottom 2 cards, above that king. So you're going to get a break above that king, and you're going to hold the break with your thumb. So you're holding the deck in end grip, and your thumb is holding that break. Okay? And the reason for that is going to become apparent in a second. You're going to kick cut half the deck into your left hand and you're going to have them put that king back, face up, so that's their signed card. And then what you do is you're going to gesture to the person on the right and say, can you pass me the hole punch? And as you gesture to the person on the right, what you're going to do is kiss the packets together. And as you kiss the packets together and you point to the person over here, you're just going to drop these 2 cards on top of the card that they've just signed. So this is face up here. You say, can you pass me the hole punch, please? And you come back. They think this is still their king of clubs that they've signed. This is actually the other king of clubs that was ruffed. That kind of makes sense. So now you're going to hole punch this ruffed card. So now you're just going to take the hole punch and you're going to hole punch this card like that in the outer end. And you're going to let them see it. Okay, so this is hole punched. And all you're going to do now is you say, I'm going to cut this into the deck and leave it face up in the middle, which you do. And now, believe it or not, you're set. Because now you say, I'm going to try and make the hole jump off your signed card and onto the key that you've been holding onto the whole time. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but watch. Done. And now all you're going to do is turn the deck face up and spread it in between your hands or on the table. And as you do, what's going to happen is there's only one face down card that's going to show, which is going to be the regular king. And if they've signed it, their signature will show up on that king. The other king that was hole punched is roughed to that 2 above it. So the hole punched king is actually here, but they don't see it because of the roughing fluid. So when you spread through like that, they see just one face down card. They see their signature, and when you take it out, the hole is gone off their signed card with almost no sleight of hand because the roughed cards have done all the work for you. The gimmick's there. It's incredibly strong. They can see that this is their signed card and the hole is gone. And then they open up their hand, and when they do, their hole has got two keys, their key has got two holes on it. It's a really cool moment, right? Now, you put the hole punch away in your pocket, which gives you a reason to steal the one-hole key. Because they think the trick's over at this point. So now you say, well, let's see if we can go one step further. And you do the same move that you used in the previous routine that we also used in the keymaster routine, which is where you show the two-hole key, you do the switch, and you come up here like this. And you say, look, I'll take the hole off the key. Hold on to the stem for me. So they hold on to the stem. This hand comes back. You just drop this into your pocket. And you go, watch, and you pull it off. And you say, I could put it back on the king, but I'm going to go one step further. I'm going to do this. And do you remember at the very beginning, you picked a card? It was the two of hearts, wasn't it? And you signed it. Watch. And now you just open up the box. And inside the box, there's one card in there still. It's still got their signature on. And it's got a hole on it. And that is the card that they signed. And the hole has jumped onto the card that they examined, that they put in the box themselves, that they've been holding onto the whole time. And as a kicker, that hole has jumped right there onto that card. And you can give them that card as a souvenir. You can give them this as a souvenir. You just put the deck away and you're redone. Now, if you want to reset that, as I say, if you've signed it, I wouldn't bother resetting it. If you haven't signed it, it's less of a pain. It is slightly still more of a pain because you're going to need another ruffed king of clubs, or you're going to have to take a different card and you're going to have to switch in a different card. So that's why I mean it's best as a one-trick thing. But it's really strong. It's fooled a lot of magicians because of, I've shown that to a lot of magicians. It's fooled a lot of magicians. They don't see that second phase coming. And because you can sign the cards on the back, and because of the roughing fluid, they just don't see it. They can't really kind of put the whole thing together. So it's a really nice routine that works really well. It's great for a parlor type situation, and it's one that I've done for a very long time. I hope you enjoy it. It's pretty cool. Okay, so let's just quickly talk about taking Keymaster and creating more of an act out of the tricks that you've just learned, as opposed to one trick and that's it. Because I've just taught you 10 different routines, and all of the routines are strong. You would never want to do all 10 routines back to back. It's just not something that you'd want to do. However, you can very easily put together a 15, 20-minute act that revolves around keys by structuring different tricks together. The important thing is to think how you're going to transition from one routine into another routine. So, for example, let's say I do so let's say I do Keymaster first of all. So I do the Keymaster routine, and if you think about Keymaster, I'm left with a hole on the stem, and I'm left with a regular key, right? So what I might want to do after Keymaster is I might want to put the regular key away, but in reality I finger palm it, and I might want to move using the technique from Gatekeeper. I might want to move that hole back onto the head of the key. Because I could do that very, very easily, because I'm left with a key with a hole on the stem. I'm left with a regular key. I put the regular key away, and I can just move that hole back onto the head of this key, which would be a great moment. And that would allow me to go into Gatekeeper. So then I could say, well, hang on a second. You're probably wondering how I did that. Well, I can just move the key around. I can move the hole around. Look, I can move it down here. I can take it off. I can throw it back on again. That would maybe allow me to then take out some business cards and go into the symbiotic routine. Because they've just seen me move the hole up and down the key, I can say, look, I tell you what, let me see if I can do that and take it to the next level. Look, I'm going to draw a picture of a key. Can you hold on to that for me? I'm going to put a hole through the head. Can you hold on to that for me? Fantastic. Don't let go. I'm going to try and move that key and move the hole right down there onto the stem. That's really on the stem, right? But what happens to that key happens to that key. You're not going to believe it. Open up your hand, have a look. Now the hole's on the stem of the business card. Isn't that weird? You can keep that as a souvenir. Hang on, I want to show you something else, but let me move that hole back. And now I do the move again and I put it back on the head. That allows me to then go into my pocket to take out a piece of string. And then I can take out a piece of string and I can go into the key and string routine, which at the end of that key and string routine, I've now got a key that's got no hole in it at all. I've just strung 4 routines together: Keymaster, Gatekeeper, the symbiotic, and the key and string routine. That's probably about a 12, 13-minute bit just there. But then I could probably say, well, you know what? Has anybody got any money I can borrow? Who's got a $5 note? Has anybody got a $5 note? I'm going to put that key away because that's really weird. Let me get another key. And you go back in and you take out the 1-hole key and the 2-hole key and you show them like this, and you go into that routine with the bill, right? And then before you know it, you've got like a 15-minute routine. The point I'm trying to make is what you want to do, and this is how I advise you to do it. Write down all 10 tricks that I've just taught you and figure out the ones that you can see yourself performing. Because different people are going to want to perform different routines. There's routines on this project that I absolutely love that you might not like. And then there's other routines that I think, yeah, that's pretty good. And you're going to absolutely love it. Write down the routines that you really like, that really speak to you. So your performing character really kind of resonates with that routine. And write down the ones that you really like. There might be 3 or 4 of them. And then what I want you to do is put together which one you think makes the best opener and which one you think makes the best closer. And then what I want you to do is try to put them all together into an act. Starting with that one, how are you going to transition from each phase? How are you going to go from that routine to that routine without like digging around in your pockets? What you don't want to do is like go, hang on a minute, let me just, right now for my next trick. It wants to be smooth. You want to smoothly go from one routine into another routine. How are you going to do that? And structure that act together. And then how are you going to go from that? You've finished all the stuff with the keys. How are you going to go for that into something else? What are you going to transition into next? And before you know it, you're going to have an act that's like 10, 12, 15 minutes long, depending on your performance style, depending on your performance time. You're going to have a 10, 15-minute act that is literally on your key fob, that you can literally just carry around on your key fob and you're good to go anytime, anywhere. And that's the beautiful thing about Keymaster. It's not cards. It's not coins. It's totally unique and totally different and something that everybody can relate to because everybody has a key and everybody knows what a key is and everybody can use a key. So there you go. That's what you want to do. You want to. I was really passionate on this project that I spend some time talking to you about how you present these tricks, and you don't just go, "Hey, let me show you a trick with a key." Right. Thanks very much. Bye. But instead, string it all together into an act with a logical beginning, a logical middle, and a logical end. That's what you want to do. And before you know it, you're going to have this incredible act. And in the past, I've done this. I've been to restaurants, and I've literally gone to a restaurant, and I've taken nothing but Keymaster with me, and I've been able to go from table to table to table, impressing people, and doing my act all night with nothing but some keys in my pocket. And that's a really great situation to be in, because if you can do that, and you have the keys cut to your own house key, you're never going to be in a situation where you're caught out and about and somebody says, "Oh, you're a magician, do a trick for me." And you go, "Oh, I've got nothing on me." You're always going to have something on you. So that's Keymaster. So there you go, guys. That is Keymaster. I want to say once again, thank you so much for buying this. On behalf of Penguin Magic, thank you so much for supporting this project. It's something I've been very passionate about bringing to you, and I'm so glad that people now have the chance to do Keymaster how I originally intended it to be done. I want you guys to let me know what you think, and the best way to do that is to leave a review on the product page on the website. It does a few things. First thing it does is it lets everybody else know that goes onto Penguin Magic what tricks they should buy, what tricks they shouldn't buy, but also makes me feel good because I get to sit here at home and I get to log on to Penguin Magic and I get to look at the Keymaster page and I get to see lots of people saying really nice things about the product, and that makes me as a creator feel really good as well. So make sure you leave a review, and outside of that, I'm sure I'll see you again here at Penguin Magic. But on behalf of Penguin Magic, thanks very much for buying Keymaster. My name's Craig. I'll see you again.